Hey guys, good morning. It is Monday morning on a very, very boring week in Washington, D.C. Biden is away in England. The Congress is out of session. Maybe they'll come back a little later. So we're just going to do D.C. stuff. Yeah, we're just going to wander around and do some D.C. stuff today. Let's figure out something cool to do. We are, however, down by the White House, and we'll take a run past 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, see what it looks like when it's empty. A lot of tourists out today. So at this time, Biden has just landed in Windsor Castle. He's going to fly out of London tonight to Vilnius, Lithuania, for a NATO summit. And he's going to spend a couple days there and then come back, I think Thursday, be back. Oh, there's a dog. So over here is West Executive Avenue. This is where they park a lot of the cars. Down there, though, you can see some construction trucks. Yeah, you see that big construction truck there? That is the entrance, I believe, where they found the cocaine. Yeah, it was down at the West Executive entrance. It wasn't the entrance that I show you up here. It's not the entrance I go through, the Northwest entrance, or the entrance to the West Wing lobby that's up here. It's more downstairs, I think, towards the Situation Room entrance. Oh, kids are out dancing the man. And a bunch of kids dancing. Yeah, they're all dancing. They're having fun. There's the guy protesting. He's been here for whatever. Oh, they're cleaning up the yard. Don't see any squirrels out today. Those who don't know, there's a second Instagram account, Squirrels of the White House. Yeah, you guys can check out all the squirrels on the White House lawn. They have their own Instagram account. All right, let's swing through downtown DC, see what's going on in the big city. Actually, you know what? Yeah, there's too much construction up that way. So they're banging and clanging away at the scaffolding here at the Department of Treasury building. Looks like, oh, they're actually covering it up with a nice mesh. This is what they have on the south side for the last few months. Now it's working its way all the way around the building. I guess they're going to cover this whole building in that mesh. This thing's been under renovation forever. I don't know when that's going to finish. Someone said it's going to be a museum. All right, let's go to the bike lane. Let's go down to the mall today. It's really nice right now. It's like in the mid 70s, cool. It's gonna go up in the high 80s later today, but right now it's chill. So that's the old Ebbet Grill, one of the oldest restaurants in Washington, D.C. It is a power broker restaurant, lobbyist, White House staff, political, media, etc. That's where you go to see and be seen. It also has a lot of tourists. Hotel Washington, I don't know what it's called now, the W Washington or something like that. All right, let's keep going down here. Whoa, red, yeah, whatever. This is a closed entrance. Nobody goes through this light anymore. Carry over the that's a pre-9/11 red light. Actually, this is kind of a pre-9/11 red light too. Though technically some White House staff do come out of this intersection. But in the old days, this used to be a major intersection. This was a way to cut across town, E Street. And then 9/11 hit and they closed it, or actually, did they close this for Oklahoma City? Think about it, they might have closed it for Oklahoma City. All right, let's go up this way. All right, so over there you see the two big Secret Service vehicles. Those are the trucks that do nothing. Yeah, I call those the trucks that do nothing. Unless something is going on and then they do something. They're basically Secret Service command units, and they roll them out whenever there's an incident. They rolled that one out, for example, when they found the cocaine. The truck that does nothing did something. Oh, it's such a glorious, nice day. I wonder. There you go, South Lawn. Pretty quiet. Oh, let's get through these bikes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the battery.
Yeah, they did.
So many tourists. All right, you know what? Let's head over towards the Washington Monument. We haven't been down to the Lincoln Memorial in about a week or two. Let's swing our way down that way and check out what's going on. It's a pretty quiet day. I have no idea why this big fence is up here. They said maybe they're renovating or repairing the ellipse, getting too much people trample on it. I don't know. They put these fences up and then sometimes they kind of forget about them. That's been the case over on the other side. They put a fence up 4 or 5 years ago and it's still there. It's basically become a National Park Service parking lot. No real reason. What do we got going on there? We've had some construction down at this entrance. Let's see if that's finished up. So yeah, all these tourists are walking to the White House. You see them? They're all walking across the lawn, only to discover when they get halfway through the ellipse, there's a fence that prohibits them from getting any closer. And they've got to walk all the way around and then all the way back. Because some National Park Service unexplained fence is up there, these people are in for a bit of a shock halfway through when they get up there. And here comes the next group, about to have the exact same experience. Walk up, hit a fence, have to go around, etc. Look, they got the new barricades working here. They both seem to be finished. Well, there's a guy still working on the barricades, but oh, look at that, he's got a nice Eon chair in here too. Herman Miller chair. I guess if you sit in here all day, probably wise. Oh. Fancy thing. Oh, got another tour group. Oh boy, big one. Alright, that's a dumb place to be drilling a hole. It's like the only entrance up there is past these guys. Alright, we gotta figure this one out. Noise. I guess someone decided that there needs to be a bollard on the sidewalk, so putting in a traffic bollard. That's probably because of the guy who drove up there. Remember the guy? I can take you to the area where the car ran into the thing, so I guess they're now putting in bollards to stop you from driving up the sidewalk. Look at this day, folks. Blue skies with little wispy clouds. Nice spring-like weather. It'll get summery later. Let's go down this way. Another bicycle tour group. Wow, look at all these tour groups. There was one at the White House, yeah? And then there's another group here. And then there's another group up ahead. It's like this group. There's another group. And then there's another one. Like wiped out in the middle of the lawn. Do you need sunburn? They're pretty busy. So right over up here somewhere is where a car tried to ram into the Lincoln Memorial, or the Washington Monument, but didn't realize that there's this security wall. I think it was right here. You see this mud all torn up? Is where the car like smashed into that thing. It didn't succeed, of course. Guy was arrested. They said he was kind of drunk. But that's why they built this. This is not a retaining wall for dirt or structure. This is actually an anti-vehicle wall. And it is designed to stop cars from getting up to the Washington Monument that might have nefarious interests in mind. There was a guy who drove a van up there about 30 years ago claiming he had a bomb. And I think that's when they decided to start the renovations. There we go. Alrighty. Oh, we have lost our hat. Big breeze. Took it right off. Ugh. That was like a big breeze out of nowhere. Oh, another ambulance. You know, you guys hear a lot of ambulances in this area. Yes, the national sound of Washington is the siren. But this road and that road over there, these are the main access roads to George Washington's emergency room. So it is pretty common for ambulances heading into the trauma center to come flying by here, like we're about to see. Oh. That one's got a cop behind it, which means it's the likely suspect in a crime. that's being transported to the hospital, and they want to make sure they don't lose custody of him when he goes into the ER. So we'll check that with Medic 33, I think it was. It's, I think, in the southeast sector, that ambulance. So we'll find out what that call was when we get home. Oh wow, what a glorious day. Look at this, folks. So pretty. Let's cross the reflecting pool and we'll go down the other side, yeah? Blue sky, kind of. The reflecting pool is almost full. Wow, there's like no ducks today. Selfie with the dog. Mowing day. Let's go down this way. It's cooler than walking on the reflecting pool side. Less sun, more trees. Oh boy, there's a big old tour group ahead.
Oh.
Yeah. So over on the other side there in the background, you can see the new National Park Service Park Police horse stable. And that's going to be like their forward operating base for the mounted division. Though I don't think it's formally opened yet. I'm not sure why. The building's been completed for months, and they've actually parked horse trailers in the back and deployed horses from there. But I'm not sure if it's fully opened as a day-to-day thing. I don't see like horses wandering around exercising out front or just vibing or anything like that. Not sure what's up with that. All right, let's get down to the Lincoln Memorial. More tourists in the way. Let's try not to kill anyone. So no flyovers this week. There's a lot of funerals. There's funerals every day at Arlington, but only basically flag officers who are generals and admirals, or like distinguished soldiers who won, like, you say, Silver Star or something like that, or those who died in combat of a certain rank. They get a flyover. And this week it didn't really seem to be anyone like that going in. Oh wow, look at this, guys. They've really started some of the construction up here at the Lincoln Memorial. We've got a column fully ensconced in plywood up there, and we've got half the memorial entrance closed. There's a major renovation going on, especially the area underneath this, which is a giant cavern, I would say, giant basement that holds up this, because basically we are on top of silt. Yeah, this entire memorial is built on landfill, where we once in a swamp, now is the Lincoln Memorial. But they're going to renovate the underground, turn it into like a visitor center. That's why you see all these fences out here, all these construction trailers over here. It's a pretty massive project. Let's, I don't know where we should go next. It is such a nice day. We just can't go inside anywhere. Let's go out into the park, yeah? Out by the river. Okay, we're out in East Potomac Park. That is the statue to John Erickson, the inventor of the screw propeller. And I think he was actually one of the guys involved in building the Monitor, or in the Monitor of the Merrimack. Interesting, one of his aides, one of his laboratory assistants, was a guy named Nobel. He went on to invent dynamite and create the Nobel Prize. But that's a statue to John Erickson here in Washington, off the corner of the mall. Back there's the Washington Monument. These are technically the polo fields of Washington, where they play polo. I actually haven't seen a polo match in years out here. But West Potomac Park has baseball, softball, and polo. Let's go over towards the FDR Memorial. It's just up ahead up here, yeah? following a bus. We want to get to the memorial before the buses get there and discharge dozens and dozens of 8th graders, which would be kind of a nightmare. Oh, they're braking. We're gonna turn. Let's get away from that. So down here is the FDR Memorial, the Franklin Delano Roosevelt Memorial. It was built probably about 20 years ago. It's one of the more recent memorials added to the National Mall. Just up to my left is the Martin Luther King Memorial, and this is FDR. Both of these memorials are threatened by high water, as they predict the tidal basin is going to be overwhelmed in the next 20 some years. So it could get a little splashy to visit this memorial. Let's do what we can without getting the rangers upset that we're riding a bike, which is pretty easy to do. Some of FDR's most memorable quotes are up here. The only thing to fear is fear itself, for example, is right here at the entrance. And this sort of tells the story of FDR as he grows. This is the Great Depression area up here, and they have statues of people waiting in soup kitchen lines and struggling with the finances and how he dealt with it. This was his second term now, 1937, 1941. It's a very popular picture to line up with the statues. And lots of faces and pictures are carved into this, well, not carved, I guess cast into the copper columns. And then we move on down to his third term, which is where we deal with the war, World War II. Yeah, you can see down here in the ground it says third term, 1941 to 45. We have a statue of FDR and his dog sitting in his chair. His wheelchair, technically. No, they never really pointed out that it was a wheelchair. They have another statue that mentions that wartime president. And down around here, you get into the war itself in his fourth term, and they actually commemorate his wife. There's Roosevelt, and she's over there, first Secretary General of the United Nations, I guess. And more fountains. Kids love to play in the fountains over here in the summertime. Freedom of speech, freedom of worship, freedom from want, and freedom from fear. Alrighty, let's make our way down to the water, because it's a pretty day. Now we're going to go by the cherry blossom trees, and you can see there's a little Japanese shrine here, put up in 1937 or 17, gift from Japan with the trees. Excuse me, sorry. Now this area down here floods regularly. You can still see there's standing water from the last high tide. But it's pretty rare. I would say basically every couple days, this area that we're on right now is underwater. And you can see how low it is at low tide. It's a couple feet. But at high tide and the rains and whatnot, this area here is pretty wet. All right, over there, guys, that's the Jefferson Memorial. Let's go over and swing by the Jefferson. We haven't been there in a while. Oh yeah, there's a lot of low trees up here. We gotta watch our head. Try not to get hit. Yikes. Or lose our hat. Ah. Yikes. Okay, we made it. All right, let's bail up here. So on the right over there, you'll see the 14th Street Bridge. That's the bridge that the plane crashed into nearly, what was that, 40, 50 years ago? Yeah, 40 years ago. The 14th Street Bridge plane crash was on the other side over there. And then over there, that's the Jefferson. And the Washington Monument on the other side of the tidal basin. All right, let's go over and check it out. Okay, as you can probably tell, my messages were going nuts. Now this area right here floods a ton, which is why you really don't see that many cherry blossoms. They basically, well, they've pretty much all been destroyed down here. This is the area they want to renovate as soon as possible try to rebuild and save the cherry trees. But as you can see up there, the flats that have been created by the flooding, it's going to be a big project. Oh wow, look at all these geese. They're like everywhere today. In fact, they're like gonna run over me. Watch this guy get bit. These guys seem pretty chill. Guess they don't have any babies around to protect and go spaz about. All right, Jefferson Memorial. Now we've had a renovation here going on. Again, the visitor center being renovated underground, and it's been going on for a couple of years. They don't move quickly renovating these old famous monuments and memorials. It is a painstaking process. Every stone is considered, historical and not something they can just replace with something from Home Depot. So there's the Jefferson. And you can just see Jefferson inside. It's standing between the columns right there. All right, let's go over that way. That's the printing and engraving over there, but that's no longer used for actual printing and engraving. They're moving everything out to Maryland. So there are no more tours. That was one of the best tours in Washington. You'd see like $100 million every time you would go. Let's go up the side sidewalk. Whoops. Now over there are the famous tidal basin paddle boats. You can rent a paddle boat and putt your way around the tidal basin. I just discovered though that a paddle boat is like 40 bucks US. Yeah, 40 bucks to rent a paddle boat. Scam, total scam. Anyway, you know what? Maybe we'll scrounge up the money one day and we'll go out on a paddle boat ride. That'll be kind of fun. Maybe especially if there's helicopters. I think I'd like to be on a paddle boat when the helicopters come by. Okay, let's head down here. Oh, another bike lane. Woohoo! This is a new bike lane, it seems. What the sus? Okay, it's a bike. Oh, we gotta cross the street, that's why. The bike lane doesn't continue on. In fact, they put big barriers in there so that we cannot continue on. We even have a bicycle-specific red light. That over there is the National Holocaust Museum. I visit there at least once or twice a year. It's definitely worth seeing, though it's kind of somber. You don't walk out of that with a happy feeling, to say the least. It's important, though. I take my kids there at least once a year and remind them of what happened. Oh, it's just a jet. I thought it was a helicopter. Let's go down this street and cut down the mall, yeah? Okay, so we heard a fire truck. Yeah, that's really the only reason we turned down the street, because there's probably engine... Oh, no, it's a rescue squad. Ah, bummer. Rescue squads, they go out for major emergencies and people stuck in elevators. He looks like he's going down Pennsylvania Avenue. Probably a broken elevator somewhere down here on the right. We'll go wander around, but I'm not anticipating anything earth-shattering. That, on the other hand, is the African American Museum, and it is earth-shattering. It is an amazing museum. Definitely recommend checking out not just the upper floors, but also the basement. It tells the stories of African Americans from the times of slavery to the successes some have had today in many different fields of science, sports, music, arts, etc. It's pretty cool. So this is Food Truck Row. Now, one time DC had a thriving food truck scene with all different gourmet kind of restaurants all over downtown. It's been replaced by basically hot dogs and cookies and ice cream and stuff. Oh, there's that fire truck crossing over. I think that's actually the hazmat unit. They've got a carbon monoxide call on the other side of the city. I think that's where that unit is going. We'll just keep heading down this way though. Yeah, hot dogs, ice cream, everything fried. And tons of falafel. I never knew that America was suffering a falafel crisis until I saw how many trucks were selling falafels. Still don't really know what a falafel is. All right, let's go up this way. Oh, it's a ghost bike. That's a sign that a bicyclist was killed at that intersection. And I should be careful. Cars should be careful as well. Bicycle advocates put up white bicycles at intersections where bicyclists were killed as a reminder to traffic to watch for bikes and a reminder for bikes to watch out for cars. Okay, so down here we've got a bunch of tents. I think this is the leftover of the Smithsonian's Folklife Festival, where they pick one specific part of America's folk life and celebrate it every year. This year was the Ozarks, Ozark music and food. I think, however, that has ended. And now, yeah, there's a bunch of U-Hauls and Hertz and Ryder moving trucks cleaning everything out. Let's go down this way. This is the first aid tent. Yeah, Folklife Festival. Oh, that's interesting. So let's go up to the U.S. Capitol where the big sheet is being removed. See that? They've taken down about a third of the big sheet that was covering the west front of the Capitol. Oh, there you see a Park Police Mounted Division truck and trailer. There must be a horse around here somewhere. Could ask the guy when they're going to move into the stables if we see him. See a horse? Oh, he's in there, the horse. He's just eating. No officer nearby. All right. And this was the Natural History Museum. Bugs and dinosaurs and the Hope Diamond. Yeah, some amazing jewelry. Second floor of this building. Just go straight in and go up to the gem room. That's like awesomeness. Let's go down this way. Over there is the Hirshhorn Sculpture Garden and Hirshhorn Museum, which is a sculpture museum, the round building over there. That just got renovated last year, and they've completed that. Here is the National Gallery's Sculpture Garden, slightly different. National Gallery of Art, which is that building up there, is not part of the Smithsonian. It's got a different legal entity than the Smithsonian, though everyone pretty much figures they call it the Smithsonian Art Museum, but it's not technically. This is the classical art building, and then the modern art is off in the distance. Let's go this way. More food trucks. Here's another little folk life leftover. And it's a really pleasant day. There's just not much going on, yeah? 2023 folk life. Oh, onto the crushed gravel. It looks like it's been freshly paved. They like ran a rake over this gravel. Check it out. I'm like the only bike track except for this other guy. What are they building down here? Benches, elephants, and a polar bear? All right, it's art. It's a protest of some sort. Let's go check it out. What are they protesting? Megafauna. So there's a rhinoceros and an elephant and what looks like a polar bear out here on the mall. And a fox or something. Excuse me. It's like made out of metal. That's pretty intense. That one's made out of metal too. That's pretty cool. I wonder how they get that off. They gotta forklift that thing. Weigh a ton. All right, let's keep going up to the Capitol and check out the big screen, as you guys call it. My phone's ringing again. Okay, phone just won't stop ringing today. Texting is just a bit crazy. Let's head up here. Oh shoot! Donk. Oh, lost my cable. Excuse me. On your left. Excuse me. Okay, we are out by the U.S. Capitol, and there you guys go. You get a really good view of the repair work that's going on the west front. This is the Capitol Stone Replacement Project. It's been going on since about, I don't know, 2017 it seems. I've seen photographs from back in 2017. They had that white tarp all the way over to the old Senate, which is the area on the left, but it's now been removed off the old Senate. Still on the center, and over on the right, the old House Chambers, now called Statuary Hall. But it looks like it's coming down. So I wonder what's going to see in a few months. We might have that all gone. Over there, though, guys, looks like we got a protest. Yeah, it's not Washington unless there's a protest. Let's check that out. Okay, wow, look at all the flowers out here. They definitely have a good budget for flowers. All right, let's go see what it's got going on here. The Central Highlands belong to the, who are these? Dega, D-E-G-A. Dega. This is, Ford's probably here. Dega Group, D-E-G-A. I'm not sure where that is. Is that in India? Ford Fisher's a journalist who covers most protests. I didn't see him there, but he would know who they are. Dega, let's check it out. Fire truck coming out. Another elevator call, probably. This is the, what is it called, Capital One Arena now. This is where the Wizards and Capitals play, a hockey team and basketball team. Also where they have some big concerts. I think it fits about, I don't know, 18,000 people or so. Oh, cars, cars, cars. And there's nobody there. Oh, the Building Museum was over. They got a new exhibit at the Building Museum. I'll show you later this week. It's supposed to be really cool. I just don't have time right now. I got to run back, get my kid from his soccer training. All right, over here, Chinese burger. What the heck is a Chinese burger? I'm gonna have to try that. I'm gonna try that soon. This is what's kind of left of Chinatown here on the left and right. A few little rundown Chinese restaurants and a big Chinese arch given by the government of Taiwan, or the city of Taipei. This is a very pro-Taiwan Chinatown. By law, everything here has to be in English and Chinese, the signage. So all the restaurants have Chinese signs and whatnot, but then of course they have some funny English stores like Walgreens down here, which has a Chinese sign, and Chipotle and Chick-fil-A. Even Hooters, when they were down here, had a sign in Chinese. It said Owl Restaurant. Yeah, the literal translation of Hooters into Chinese was Owl Restaurant. Let's go over this sidewalk. Now this is the Gallery Place Metro. This is an open air drug market in this area. It smells like weed, and there's always a stabbing or shooting there about once a week. I'm not kidding, and yeah, it does smell like weed right now. Okay, let's head down this way. Over there is the National Portrait Gallery and the Museum of Smithsonian Museum of American Art, I think it's called. It's actually pretty cool. There's Chick-fil-A in Chinese, right over there. Now, up ahead, that black building is the Martin Luther King Public Library. That's the public library for DC. But I just found out once a month on the roof, they have a punk rock concert. You should check that out. Punk rock on top of the library once a month in DC. That'd be kind of cool to see. Let's cut through downtown, yeah? Hey, I've got a walkway. Now, over there on my right, one of those buildings that's unmarked, that's the headquarters of the Secret Service Uniform Division. They used to park their cars out in front, but now they kind of hide them underground. Mather Studios. I don't know what that building is. Apartments, maybe. All right, this is the old Woodward and Lothrop building, Woody's, on my left. It's got a beautiful Gilded Age fresco on the outside that they recently renovated, repainted and everything, so it looks like it did in the 1900s. Let's get over there. There, you can see it. Sometime in the 1950s or 60s, they painted all this over with gray paint, and many people kind of forgot that it existed. But then they found some old photos, and decided they'd peel off all the gray paint and renovate it. Now it looks like it does. All right. We got a bike lane and a green light. Let's go for it. Ambulance up ahead. Probably someone sick. I get an alert on my phone whenever there's a big fire or a hazmat situation. We haven't had many lately. Most structure fires are just like people leaving food on the stove. It's rare it goes to a second alarm. We haven't had a 2-alarm fire in about 10 days or so. Let's go down this way, yeah? U.S. International Development Finance Corporation. Another foreign aid agency. American Association for the Advancement of Science. That's a lobbying group on behalf of science. Who else do we have down here? This is the phone company, if I remember, this strange building. Nondescript. This one under construction is the National Women's Museum, or Women in the Arts Museum. It's a museum toward women artists, but it's been under renovation since COVID, a couple of years now. That is New York Avenue Presbyterian. I showed that the other day. That is Abraham Lincoln's parish. That's where Abraham Lincoln used to go to church. Not that building specifically, but this parish, this location, as we are, believe it or not, only 2 blocks away from the White House right now. And let's catch this light. Oof. Another bike lane. Woohoo! Alrighty guys, guess where we are? 1 block from the White House. Let's go back across and get rid of this bike, get some food. Okay, right there, that's the president's secret escape alley, yeah? Through a series of tunnels, the president can get to the building back there and his cars can sneak out of that alley should the White House ever be surrounded by, say, zombies or something like that. The president's escape alley. Now, I'm not telling you any secrets. You can Google president's escape alley and you'll find it on Google, so don't think I'm like revealing some big secret. It's all out there. And that sidewalk is closed because they're renovating. Oh, right now they're actually doing work. Oh my God, a strange government thing. This is the Lafayette Park Lodge. This was burned out during the George Floyd protests. It only took them about 3 years to get around to recontracting and rebuilding the thing. So they're hard at work-ish. Now you remember the guy who tried to run a U-Haul into the White House? There's the skid mark right there on the curb, and this is the bollard that he hit. And all it did was basically scratch the paint a little bit. This bollard is pretty strong. Now, the park is open, but the road is not. Let's go check out what's going on in the park, yeah?
What's going on, sir?
Not much. So, they closed the road for some reason. Strange because, oh, I guess, is the First Lady in town? I don't think the First Lady went over to England. I think she stayed in town. She has some travel this week. Maybe she's going over to Lithuania later. But they closed this for all different reasons. I don't see a hazmat team or anything like that, so not that fascinating. So guys, it's pretty quiet in Washington today. Not a lot going on, but we got to see some sights. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to be back a little bit later tonight with another video, yeah? We're going to make a video, and I'm going to try to show you some of the possible locations where they might have found the cocaine. Because a lot of you have been asking me about that. So we'll go back and look at some of our archival footage, and we'll put something together later tonight, yeah? If I can get some free time today. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. I will see you guys soon.